I'm going to write that down in my terminology notebook for this show and
So
question
how
it
long, how
later.
long have they been on this planet by this point then? If they've
Oh,
had
months.
mega cycles to create, yeah, months since they've been started it right away.
12 weeks.
Exactly 12 weeks.
Because we are on the 12th
months.
episode.
Presumably, there's a lot of boring days that we don't join the team on.
No. We take the highlights out of 1 week of shooting and condense it into a 22-minute episode.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we
All the
talk
wow.
about those 22 minutes for 3 hours.
Too much energy.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Too Much Energon, the weekly podcast where we review every episode of Beast Wars ever in production order, starting from the beginning. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am also one of your hosts, NeoCal.
And this week, we actually have a special guest on the podcast.
And I'm the podcaster known as Tim.
Tim.
You have to say it like that.
He will forever henceforth be known as. And this week on Too Much Energon, we are reviewing the 12th episode in production order, Dark Designs, which was the 13th episode in U.S. broadcast order. It originally aired on November 4th, 1996. Cal, why don't you get us started on this episode?
Oh, yes, this episode. I think it starts with our group on a little science expedition. Is that what they're on?
Yeah, Rhinox seems to have some kind of device strapped to his rhino leg.
Yeah, they're scientists. Damn it. They're going to do science things.
There's a device beeping according to the closed caption that I'm looking at.
It definitely looks like there's a blinking light.
Yeah, and it has something to do with Energon, but they're not too clear.
Yeah, they're
somehow the Energon readings are interfering with their Energon readings.
Right?
an Energon tautology.
But seriously, are you just as confused as me, or did they actually explain what they're doing looking for Energon?
It looks like they're looking for Energon, but the Energon that they've been tracking is too far buried for them to get, so this is basically just a big waste of time.
But how could they track it from farther away if when they get there it's too far buried?
Well, I think it's too far, it's down too deep for them to actually access.
Like beneath the sea level or something odd, yeah. And they're near the water, or they're near the ocean, I guess?
They seem to be like on a cliff. Near a river,
a river with probably a nice little waterfall along it. It's got this like tranquil music playing, and Rhinox is basically like, well, this mission's a no-go, and Optimus is like, well, at least it's a waste of a time with a nice view.
Yeah, at least it has a nice view.
Yeah, and Rat Trap is basically just like, saying some Rat Trap bullshit, complaining.
What else could go wrong?
Yeah. That they spent all day like going through all of this just to enjoy the scenery, basically. And like you said, he's like, yeah, what else could go wrong? And then
it's an ambush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, all of them are here. All of them tightly packed together. Well, except Tigerbot.
he roams by himself.
Yeah, he's a lone tiger. But yeah, like Christopher was saying, he's a wanderer. There's a missile.
He's the kind of guy who likes to roam around. Okay, anyway, missile.
I was waiting for you to continue singing. I wasn't gonna try.
I actually don't really know the lyrics to that song.
I don't know it very well either. I haven't played Fallout games.
That song was quite famous before that game.
Yeah, well, I never heard it.
Just let him think.
Just let him have this.
Just yeah.
No, I knew it existed. Obviously, they don't make up their own songs.
What? It's okay. Apparently, what's his name? Bob Denver or song, Country Roads got huge, hundreds of thousands of hits after Fallout 76's trailer came out.
And then after the game came out, people were like, "This song fucking sucks."
No, they said the game sucks, but they still liked the song. Curious. I'm learning it on harmonica.
I think my sister-in-law learned it on the ocarina.
Of time.
In time.
I like the way you say ocarina. Bobby, what you playing? The ocarina? We're talking about Beast Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a missile.
Yeah, there's a
Who
missile
shoots
hit
it? Is it Scorponok?
It's Pterosaur.
Yes.
I think.
He shoots missiles?
No, I thought it was Scorponok. I thought it shoots out of his claws.
Oh yeah. Still waiting for a return of the cross-country missile. Like, I hope it's got to come up again one more time this season.
The angle has to be perfect, right? Like you need a kind of be a little bit lower than them, and the horizon.
And they have to have
be
plot
visible.
armor at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plot armor is what keeps the missile from exploding.
Okay, so Terror Scorponok's missile hits the ground, blows up, launches Cheetor back, and Cheetor gets all pissy with Rat Trap and it's just like, you had to ask, didn't you? And we see chilling on the top of this like cliffside are all of the Predacons with the exception of Black Arachnia.
She busy doing arachnid stuff.
Yeah, she's busy doing spider things.
Yeah.
You know, like scaring the living shit out of me all the time.
Yeah. Serial killer bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Megatron makes a comment, "This shouldn't be so easy." Yes.
Yeah, because the Maximals transform, and then all the Predacons start shooting at them, and Megatron makes that comment.
Oh, and Optimus is like, "We need a distraction." What does he say? "Jetpack, go!" And he lifts off very slowly and immediately gets shot.
I love that. He's like, time to fly, and he's like 4 feet off the ground, and he just gets shot.
And
Cheetor, it's like the surprised Pikachu meme. It's like, what did you expect to happen there?
And Cheetor does his typical like, "No big bot" thing or whatever, Cheetor bullshit.
Yeah.
So Rhinox has his like little Gatling gun thing, and
which apparently saves the day.
Yeah, somebody, who was it? Someone is like, "Oh, you're missing by a mile."
Oh, it's Cheater. Give me 1 sec. I have it. Cheater, you're missing them by a parsec.
By a parsec.
By a parsec?
A parsec. That's what he says. Yeah. That's 3.3 light years.
So, has Cheetor? Did Cheetor do his practicum on the Millennium Falcon before this?
That's what I was thinking. I always have a problem with that because, like Tim just said, it's a distance. It's a unit.
It's a real distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried really hard to make sense of that in.
They tried so hard to wreck on it. He did really it in 12. It means he took a shortcut.
Yeah.
You two are the only ones calling out that bullshit. I know so many Star Wars nerds that like defend that with like their dying breath, and I'm like, or Star Wars just isn't that good.
Listeners, I think The Last Jedi is legit one of the best Star Wars movies. Come at me.
Oh, so there's me who hates all of them except A New Hope, and then there's you who thinks The Last Jedi is good.
I love The Last Jedi.
Empire Strikes Back?
No, sorry. Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope.
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back, maybe a bit more, yeah.
After Rhinox's, he attacks very smartly. Instead of shooting at the Predacons, he shoots at the cliff above them and causes an avalanche. And they all get, shoved away by the falling rocks. And everyone on the Maximal side is able to limp away from combat.
Yeah, and Optimus is all like congratulating Rhinox, being like, "Steady nerves and quick thinking. You'd make a great leader one day." And Rhinox is basically like,
"I'd rather smell the flowers."
Yeah.
I feel with that.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so Optimus and Megatron both retained their almost original names. These other people had to have their own names before they came to this planet. But then they just adopted names that suited their beast forms better.
Okay, even when I was 11, I was questioning that.
Yeah.
I think you get a name when you like accomplish yourself somehow or have an iconic form. And they were all just kind of like an offshoot of Autobots that didn't really have anything. But it is funny to think that long before they landed on this planet, they were named Rhinox and Cheetor and Dinobot.
And
they
they
just-
picked the forms that suited their names.
And they just coincidentally happened to end up with forms that are with beast forms that relate to their names.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been hilarious if Cheetor got like let's say Rat Trap took a cheetah and Cheetor was like, dude, my name's Cheetor. What are you doing?
What are you doing, man? I called
Rat
dibs.
Trap's just like, what? I like the spots. And yeah, and Rhinox was like an elephant. So yeah, I like to think that I love that screenshot. There's a point in the thank you. I pointed that out to my partner. For the listeners, Christopher just sent us a screenshot where Optimus is referring to how many Predacons there are, and he's like, "There's 7 of them," and what does he say? 5 of us. But the way he makes 7. And he's a gorilla, right? So he's got 5 fingers open on one hand.
The devil horns.
Yeah, and then he's got the the rock on or the devil horns in the other hand to make 7. And I'm like, I've never ever seen that in my entire life.
Yeah, that's gonna end up being the show art for this episode. Also, the screenshot that I just posted, Cheetor's face. I don't know what it is.
Optimus.
I don't know what it is about Cheetor's face. It just cracks me up.
Is Optimus giving him a reach around?
No, what I think that is let's say Cheetor was picked on by another kid at school, and Optimus is his dad, and he's kind of like, "Oh, here he is, Dad," and like Optimus is showing up and being like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I heard your son has a problem with mine," and you open the door and there's just a 700-pound gorilla, and you're like, "Oh fuck." They're limping away, right? And it cuts to I think it cuts to the Predacons like pulling themselves out of the rocky rubble.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and I maybe one of you have the note down, but I think Megatron says something to Tarantula Man. It says something like Tarantulas. Basically they want to get Rhinox for something.
Yeah, he says that
I may have underestimated the rhino.
Yes.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, as they're all like limping back, they're all like spreading out this time so they're not ambushed. But Rhinox is like, I'll take up the rear.
Yeah, it all looks clear. I'll meet you guys back at the base.
Yeah, but he's way far back. Like he's not even within eyesight distance of them.
No.
And I'm like, that's not
Rhino's
taking up the
eyesight.
rear. That's how you get attacked by a giant spider. My least favorite part of every episode. Where Tarantulas gets the fucking drop on someone.
Which is exactly what happens. So Tarantula Man is able to web up Rhinox in a like big energy web sack, and he crawls down and straight up bites him, and it makes this like gross it makes this gross like squishy like piercing sound.
I forgot he just bites him.
Oh,
I don't.
Yeah. And then
I don't like him.
Oh, I have things to say about this later in the episode.
Okay.
All about Tarantulas being a disgusting serial killer?
About poisoning robots. Like, how is that a thing? Like, yes, they have.
You didn't join us You didn't join us last week, where boy, did we have some things to say about poisoning robots. Basically, something about mech fluid. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, I did hear that part. But they don't say a computer virus or anything this time later on in the episode.
No, it's just disgusting Tarantula Man juice.
You somehow made it worse.
I mean venom. Venom. Mech fluid venom. That made him sleepy.
Tarantula Man's juice. Tarantula Man's juices.
Disgusting. What have I done? So yeah, they capture Rhinox. Very easily.
And we're back at the dark side, and inside Rhinox is in his beast form, and he's on this like platform, and he's like hunched over in this way that's like
they make
kind
every
of amusing
animal.
to me.
They make every kind of animal sit like a dog.
They're all sitting like
all the animals. Like if you see them and they're
sorry, Tim. Do you mean Predacons?
No, I just mean every animal in a cartoon sits like a dog would sit because that's
Oh,
what
I see what you're saying.
yeah, like they sit with their back legs on the ground and their front
Animals.
legs straight up and down. Yes.
I don't know the
Beast-
way I've never seen a dog sit the way Rhinox is sitting.
Sorry, yeah,
I
Christopher,
have.
you were
It's
saying
kind of hilarious.
he's hunched over, kind of weird as fuck.
He's kind of he's sitting down with his hind legs just spread out wide, and he's kind of like hunched forward. It's like he looks like a fat dude sitting at a computer desk.
Yes.
So like me right now.
Tim, that's interesting. Yeah, they all do sit like dogs at some point, kind of. Except Dinobot.
Well, he doesn't really sit.
Yeah.
Not
Christopher and I have actually seen. Wow, I need to. He's going to be Rhinobot this episode, but I
Yes.
get in the habit of calling them their fake, their made up names. And I was gonna say Rhinobot.
I had
Christopher
my
and
notes
I-
earlier from listening to your podcast, so yes.
Christopher and I have we've made fun of Rhinox's ability to like sit at the dinner table and use a computer with his like giant like rhino
Pause.
hoofs, feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in a later episode he can't put a floppy disk in a
In the probe, yeah.
yeah.
It's like
With his
suddenly
mouth.
it's like suddenly him being in beast form is now a problem as it pertains to using a computer when it hasn't been an issue in any other episode.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's having a sit.
He's having a sit, and there are these like blaster things pointed at him, connected to this machine that he's sitting in, and Megatron
like
is
oils. Something weird.
kinda, yeah. And so Megatron is sitting on his like floating throne thingy, and he's like, he calls this device the transmuter, and he says it was megacycles in the making.
Okay, so how long is a cycle? Has it ever been made clear?
Oh,
We have
It's
talked about
funny
this
that-
a great.
I know, and you said a minute in the last episode, but you never actually compared minutes to cycles.
The long story short is we have no clue, and it doesn't seem to be consistent from episode to episode.
Last
so-
episode they just used the term minutes.
Yeah.
And Christopher and I were like, what? Because
What?
I thought a cycle was a minute.
so cycles are equivalent to more or less either like long seconds. Like there's a couple seconds in a cycle or a few seconds in a
Okay.
cycle. And we think a megacycle is
Judging by the
an
pixels, it should be
hour?
1,000.
What did we think, Christopher? Or have we completely forgotten?
I used to think it was hours, but Megatron here being all like megacycles in the making makes it seem like
Seems like
this
at least
device.
days.
Yeah, it makes it seem like this device like probably took like I don't
months?
know, like months to
Yeah,
make.
because if they made it in 5
That's
days,
pretty
why
tough.
would they be like, do you like it? It took tons of resources and many megacycles to complete.
Yeah.
It took 5 days. So maybe, or the writers don't correlate what the fuck their own terminology means. And they just make it up as they go
Equally
along.
likely.
But in this episode, maybe a megacycle is a month.
That's
Yeah,
what I have always thought. Yeah, seems like
Maybe.
it should be about a month.
those monsters. What's going on here? Oh, they're gonna zap Rhinox.
Yeah, they're gonna
Well,
put him in a different
Wait a
tank.
second. Wait a second here.
Uh-oh.
What is?
The cycle?
Wait
Where
a
did
cycle.
you find this? Wait a cycle. Specific unit definitions. Okay. So my partner has passed me the units of time based on the Transformers universe. Are you ready for this?
Oh shit.
So instead of getting an angry email by somebody calling us a pleb, she actually handed me it, and a megacycle is approximately 2.6 hours.
So
Okay.
many megacycles. So it's taken them a few days.
It's taken them hours.
maybe?
This thing took hours to build, god damn it.
And you're gonna respect it. But that's in the animated Transformers. On Beast Wars specifically, megacycles are approximately 1 hour.
Okay, that was what I thought originally.
But in the comics, a megacycle is 93 hours.
What?
So half a week, basically.
Christopher's what? So
that is like, why
Weirdly, there's a
93?
weird discrepancy. Yes.
pretty big disparity, huh?
That's also just a weird like
93 a prime number? If it's a prime number, then that makes some sense because he's Optimus Prime.
oh.
So
Oh.
many megacycles. I don't think he's using the Beast Wars terminology, because why would he like brag about it taking almost a day to build? So there we go.
Well, we'll never know.
Thank you. We'll never. It's either 2.6 hours, 1 hour, or 93.
And it is interchangeable depending on what the plot calls for.
Yes. In this episode,
It's
funny.
What?
I think it's funny to think that he's like, yes, this took us many hours to build.
But it's like this gigantic.
Entire afternoon. I'll have you know.
Our entire afternoon wasted.
That was my only day off this week. Yes.
My head hurts from thinking about that. Or laughing at it. I'm not sure.
Both?
So did they zap him?
Yes,
Not
zap
yet.
'em.
Not yet. We cut
Yeah.
to the Maximals
Rat
discussing what they're gonna do, and they're all just like, we have to go after him. And Optimus is just like, cool your circuits, Cheetor. You know, as he's
We have to know where they are first.
I feel like he says that to Cheetor a lot.
he does, yeah.
Does Cheetor's circuits have a problem with overheating? I mean, in the literal sense, not in the figurative sense.
He is a hot-headed cat. Maybe
Well, he is.
maybe his caution circuits are overriding his bravery chip. I don't know.
Something like that.
It's just-
Or
the opposite.
If we had just make up some of the jargon we've accumulated and say it like very assuredly to Tim, he wouldn't know otherwise.
So there's Technobabble.
That's fair.
So is there like Beastie Babble as well? Beastie's Babble?
Yes.
Beastie
Definitely is.
Babble.
Yeah. Like they've used nano clicks on the show before, which are about 1 second.
Yep.
Yep. So, anyways, the machine that takes many hours to build. I'm gonna shut up until Rhinobot comes in.
Yeah, Rat Trap is like scanning. He picks up Rhinox's comm frequency, and they start listening in to Rhinox being in the dark side.
Which they can do.
Apparently.
Which
The Energon
they've shown us
must be
many
minimal right
times
now.
that's not possible. But sure, it can happen now.
Apparently, in this episode, Energon interference isn't an issue.
No. Wait, good point.
Oh yeah,
No, it's not. Okay, well, unlearn everything you've learned, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Done.
Okay, so back at the dark side, this machine, the transmuter that took hours to build, shoots 4 purple lasers at Optimus, Rhinox, and Rhinox yells out in pain, and then he changes color, and he opens his eyes, and his eyes are red, while
Of course.
Megatron is laughing maniacally.
Very maniacally.
And
Yeah, his color palette changed to like a purple hue.
I just want to say that I love Megatron's like shit-eating grin. Like, and like this smirk that he gets on his face when he's just so satisfied with himself and what he's done. I fucking love it. I want to get the dude's face with an expression like that tattooed on me.
He'll do it. He's gonna do it.
I am gonna
Ladies
do
and
it actually. I'm gonna get on my my left shoulder. I'm going to get Megatron's face tattooed on me to represent the devil on my shoulder. And on my right shoulder, I'm going to get Dinobot's face tattooed on me to represent the angel on my shoulder.
And on the
Robot
top of
forms
your
or-
back,
Robot forms.
no, beast form. That
So
one
I'll
just
just
looks
have
like a
dinosaurs.
T-Rex and a
Yeah.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Wow, you really like dinosaurs, don't you?" And he's gonna get Optimus on the top
As a
of
matter of
his.
fact, I have seen Jurassic Park at least 27 times, including
I don't.
what?
Oh, I don't think you're joking there when you say you've seen it 27 times.
I am joking, actually. I've seen it like maybe 4 or 5 times in my life.
Yeah, same. Your actually voice is like startling. Like I actually didn't even know who was talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, "Who is this?" And then you're gonna get Optimus tattooed in the middle on your upper back to represent the monkey on your back.
Ho
I've been waiting like a minute and a half to make that joke.
Actually, what I'm gonna get tattooed in the middle, because I'm gonna get these not on. I'm not gonna get these on my back. I'm gonna get them. I guess shoulder isn't the right term, but like
Where you would put a
Shoulder
top
blade.
Yeah.
the front of that.
Yeah, like so you could see it from the front, but that part
Yeah.
of your shoulder.
Yeah, and in the middle of my chest, I'm going to get Matrix's targeting reticle on his eye.
Oh,
Love it.
rad.
That's my plan. I'm gonna get.
My dad made me stop watching Reboot when Enzo lost in the fighting game to the Devil.
He made you stop watching?
Yeah, he made me stop watching it because the Devil won.
Did he do like a Hail Mary and say, "Son, this is not the show for you"?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, okay, so
Because Enzo died in Mortal Kombat.
Immortal Combat.
Immortal Conflict is what they called it in the game, if I remember
It
correctly.
was actually what it was called.
I think it was Immortal Conflict.
That explains why they were like angels and demons, like immortal entities, right?
Yeah.
I like that the user like knew the fatality, like one fatality for that one character. You knew he's some like 13-year-old kid who just like looked that up in like a Game Pro magazine, and he was like, "Sweet, up A." Anyway, sorry, we're talking like my favorite character so far. Christopher and I joked last week, and I was like, "Oh man, Rhinobot is Rhinox's Predacon name." And
Yeah.
Christopher was like, "Oh, spoilers." I actually completely forgot about this episode. So I actually didn't know what he was talking about, and I didn't know it was the very next episode either.
Since I told Christopher a couple weeks ago that this is the episode I wanted to do, when I was listening to it today, I'm like, yeah, spoilers for the episode I'm going to be on. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know. I just said that being like, ha ha ha, Rhinobot's his Predacon name. But Rhinobot is his Predacon name, and he's here. Something I didn't know I wanted.
Is he bigger as a Predacon than he is as a Maximal? It certainly looks like it. Looks like he's almost the same size as Megatron.
He's always been pretty big.
There was an episode where he like punches Megatron out, and he's as big as him.
Oh, okay.
He's a big boy.
So he transforms into robot form, and he has a new color scheme. So all of the gold bits on him have turned silver, and all of the light green bits have turned like dark green. And his brown rhino skin has kind of turned to like a almost burgundy color. I actually dig his Predacon color scheme.
It's a good color swap. Yeah. Also, he's like a smarmy shit lord. Like all of his comments are like snarky.
Yeah.
As soon as he transforms, he calls Megatron Chief, and I'm just like, I already don't like him as a Predacon.
Oh, I fucking love
out there. What did he say?
Well, I mean, I like the character, but I mean, if I was Megatron and this guy that I just made my ally called me Chief in that tone of voice, I'd be really suspicious.
Right, he calls him Chief, as if he's like, like somebody's like your friend's dad.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up there, Chief? Just coming over to hang out with little Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't like that. I love Rhinobot. I don't like the word chief.
So Megatron is all like, "Everyone, meet our new Predacon. Cheers."
Rhinobot.
And then ominous music starts playing, and we cut to the Maximals, who are still listening tapped into Rhinobot's comm. They're listening to this, and they're all like, "Oh man, this sucks. We got to go get him back." Or
And then fucking Cheetor has a great line. He's like, "Better dead than Pred."
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
and
was
then
like,
he
excuse
says
me.
that he says
Go
that
ahead.
right to Dinobot too, and Dinobot is like, "Some of us have survived the experience."
Yeah, and then Cheetor says better dead than Pred.
No, other way around.
The
He
other
said
way
it first.
around.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Cheetor. Better dead than Pred. Someone else has said that at one point in the show too.
Rat Trap said it, yeah.
But the timing of this is like what? Cheetor would rather like die than like be turned into a Predacon.
Right?
Also, Dinobot's there. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off, dude. Like, that pissed me off.
How often does Dinobot say "indeed"? I feel like it happens more than once.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Teal'c? Is he Teal'c from Stargate?
Indeed.
A little less reserved and calm-minded.
Yeah.
Which one came first, Dinobot or Stargate? Or Beast Wars or Stargate?
Beast.
Ooh,
wait a second.
Stargate.
Stargate? All right.
Yeah,
SG-1,
around
right?
the same time, though.
Yeah, that's what I figured, but I wasn't quite sure.
But remember, our favorite Vulcan often used to say "indeed" too, from the original series Star Trek.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that like they like tagging on to Y as characters. Not sure why they give it to Dinobot though.
He's the wise samurai.
Well, he's a samurai, that's for sure.
He's a dino, and he's a bot. And now apparently there is too much interference for them to tap into the comm, because the comm gets cut off.
Oh, okay.
And Rat Trap is like, we're too far away and there's too much interference. When it's like, meanwhile, no one has fucking moved in this situation. And like, none of the circumstances have changed. But now all of a sudden the interference is a problem.
Well, maybe all that lava is liquid energon. You ever think about that?
Liquid energon.
Yeah,
Too much.
I thought energon was crystals, so I don't fucking know.
That's just an energy drink.
Liquid energon.
Energon drink.
Funny enough, I actually, me and my partner actually refer to energy drinks as energon a lot to one another.
That's kind of great. I growing up, I often substitute the word energy with energon, without even thinking about it. It's one of those things, but not specifically energy. Yes, Monster energy drink. Now I can get through work.
You.
It'll make a true Predacon out of you. Yes.
24-hour energy. Or
24-hour energon.
24 cycle energon. Yes. Fuck, I don't know, what does this show become?
Jesus Christ.
Do they move? Do they get closer? What do they do?
So they're like, so Optimus is like, we'll have to get closer, but then we wait. And
Cheetor suggests going in guns blazing.
And yeah, and Rat Trap's also like, we gotta go save my pal. And Optimus is like, no, not yet. And they're like, what? Are you crazy? And he's like, no, but I think Megatron may have bitten off a little bit more than he bargained for. And then he looks at the camera, and then Optimus looks at the camera and says, yes.
I love that.
So it's
like, Optimus is great on this show.
So it's basically Dinobot's plan from the last episode when Optimus was on the rampage, except now they're actually going to let it happen.
Well, they don't know that he's going to rampage, and I would say that he doesn't rampage as much as he systematically like commits like espionage. Yeah,
he's very calculated in this.
Yeah, a very opposite of what Optimus was doing. So Optimus was like stomping around, stabbing people with his machete and licking the blood off of their wounds. Optimus, man, he's great in this. Usually, Optimus is very like people might hate me for this, but in most Transformers movies or the show or whatever, he's kind of boring.
Yeah.
He's definitely not on Beast Wars. I like him. He's grown on me a lot.
Yeah, I like him too. But we've talked about that before.
Well, we've talked about it. Now back to Rhinobot.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
immediately starts plotting with no lead up or reason. He just immediately starts plotting against Megatron.
Well, wouldn't you?
Well,
Yeah,
yes, but you'd expect. Well, I mean, I guess you can't expect the bad guys to play nice. So
Well, this is yeah, that's a good point. It's insinuating though that instead of being easygoing, that has flipped and made him very ambitious as a
yeah,
Predacon.
Yeah, it's basically inverted his personality.
everything
he's still
about
very intelligent.
instead of liking to construct things, he has the line, "Oh yes, destruction. Destruction is always good."
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's completely flipped. Every part of his
Good
personality.
point. He's still very smart though. But his personality, not his intelligence, but his personality has flipped. That's a good point. Yeah, he's ambitious, he's destructive, and he's scheming, whereas before he was easygoing, constructive, and loyal. Yeah. I like Rhinobot.
So Megatron
Although his voice sounds like the direction was, okay, you got to sound the same, but try to sound like you're trying to be a bad guy. And he's like, yes, okay, I'll try to sound like a rhino with a cold.
Christopher's pretty good at doing Rhinox and Rhinobot.
So yeah, Megatron wants Rhinobot to help him dismantle the Axelon's defense system, and Rhinobot's basically just like, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
And
yeah, what does he say? The satisfaction of
Megatron's just like, well, the simple satisfaction of playing a critical role in the destruction of your former comrades. Cheers. And Rhinox is like, yep, destruction's always good.
Yep.
He does.
My Rhinox is not on point right now. I don't know why.
I don't know. I kind of like it because that reminded me watching the episode. He does almost have a slight trucker twang.
He does almost, yeah.
Destruction's always good. He does. He does kind of have that twang to his voice.
So there's a little holographic model of on the computer of the Axelon, and it suddenly cuts out, and Rhinox is like, something wrong? Megatron's just like, oh, there seems to be some kind of malfunction, and Rhinox is like, gee, hope it's under warranty. And then Megatron just is like,
Yeah.
What have I gotten myself into? Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like, you're not here to give quippy,
give me sass.
snarky remarks.
Yeah, you're not here to
give him sass.
So Scorponok's doing some bullshit on a computer in this little
storage.
Storage room.
Yeah.
Thing.
It just looks like a bunch of shelves all stacked around a central circle, and then a computer in the middle that he's working on.
Yeah, he's trying
what are stacked? Like a bunch of weird shaped boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cargo
of some kind.
So Scorponok opens up the computer panel and sees that something is missing, and what does he call it? The redactor modem.
The redactor modem, yeah.
Is missing. What the fuck is a redactor modem?
It's a modem that reduces things.
I was hoping that one of you would have the magical answer.
Okay, so a redactor modem is just some Beast Wars bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that makes the computer go when AOL connects to the internet.
See, in 1996, you hear something like redactor modem, you're just like, oh, that's some computer stuff. You hear it in 2020, and you're like, no, that's nothing. That's nonsense.
who knows? But it's missing, and Rhinobot is there. And Scorponok's like, oh, the computer part is missing, Uncle Rhinobot. And Rhinobot's like, well, we better look for it.
And then
He's
he
like, you need
and
to be careful.
and then he crushes something in his hand, and then he opens his hand up, and like a bunch of pieces of a chip fall out.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
So
this
he
implies
crushed-
that he...
Oh, there you go. You skipped a part. He's like, well, you need to be careful, Rhinobot. And he's like, I am being careful. I'm on these sides of the crates.
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah,
He crushes the thing
little...
after that, though. He crushes it after
No,
that.
I'm literally watching it right now.
Yeah, he crushes it beforehand.
Yeah.
Because Scorponok starts looking around, because apparently these parts fall out of the computer. And yeah, he walks forward, and that's when he kind of like sprinkles the part on the ground. Regardless of before or after, it's implying that this is what's funny about the scene. It's implying that Rhinobot came in, took this part, and then left, and then waited in the shadows for Scorponok to come back to the terminal, so he could like walk back and go, "Is there a problem?"
Yeah. So yeah,
It's a really Predacon
Rhinox
thing
is
to
now
do.
on the other side of like this big, like super tall stack of these cargo crates, and he's like pushing on it, and Scorponok is just like, "Hey, be careful!" And Rhinox,
Be careful! It might crush one of us.
and Rhinox is like, "Oh, I am being careful. See, I'm on this side, and they're gonna fall that way." And he pushes them forward, and they start tumbling down and tumble onto Scorponok and fucking crush him.
Yeah.
I must have been watching a different cut of the show than you guys, because it happened in the opposite order. The one I just watched before we started.
That's what I always say too. Whenever I see the scene order up, I'm like, yeah, I got a different copy. What happens after he crushes poor Scorponok?
Scorponok is woken up by Megatron and Waspinator, and Waspinator is referring to him as like, "Oh, the idiot is asleep." Waspinator calling someone the idiot.
In the version I saw, he says the idiot is comatose.
I think,
like,
yeah, he says that on mine too. Do they actually say different stuff?
No, I was paraphrasing.
He's paraphrasing.
I was intentionally paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking, like, can robots actually go comatose?
Yes.
Funny enough, the closed caption for the version of this that I'm watching on Tubi actually says trauma toast.
Wait, 2 words? Trauma toast?
I will send you a screenshot of it.
That's trauma toast. Wow. I think they need to update their subtitle bot. Trauma toast.
Their closed caption circuits.
The closed caption circuits. It's an older model.
There's CCCs.
Oh my god. I can't handle Waspinator calling anyone else an idiot.
The idiot is trauma toast.
Like, it's shown that he's like a biological like scientist, like a virologist. One that makes mistakes, but like what the hell is what is have we figured out, Christopher? Have we figured out what Waspinator does? Is he like a communications guy, or is he like minimum wage labor? Like what is his?
Is he the same as Cheetor? Basically, he's just a college
paid intern.
He's just a henchman.
He's henchman.
Job title henchman.
he has no function other than to just be muscle.
Okay.
Muscle? He really wants to be stealthy, but it's never worked out for him.
But bless him, he tries.
Yeah, so also he would never say that to Scorponok if Scorponok was awake.
And so they put him in the Scorponok in the CR chamber, in the
Healy tank.
The Healy tank, the jacuzzi,
the
hot tub,
crushed.
The hot tub heal machine.
He gets squashed to a pancake.
the heel
hot tub
time machine.
hot tub heel machine.
Hot tub. Yeah. Hot tub heel
The
machine.
heel tub time machine?
Any and all of the above.
Yeah. It
So
looks warm.
So Waspinator is like flying around, muttering in his robot form, and a swinging block, which for some reason one of those it's the same one of those crates that crush Scorponok,
That's
is suspended from the ceiling by like a cable, and there's just one.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
That's a
it
weird
is
Home
dumb.
Alone. What Home Alone bullshit is this?
So it comes swinging
Like, how can we
toward.
get rid of him?
It comes swinging toward Waspinator and fucks him up, and he starts like flying around, going nuts, like muttering about like the
Being
Autobot, destroying the Autobots and shit like that.
Yeah, like as if his mind has regressed.
Yeah,
He actually talks about later on he actually talks about like Cybertron and Autobots and even uses the word Decepticon. So it
And he
seems like
named-
his mind has regressed.
and he refers. We'll get there, but he refers to himself as Shrapnel, who is one of the Insecticons in G1.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Um,
And then
So
he
we
punches himself in the head for a few times.
we see that it was obviously Rhinobot who swung the storage crate into
What a
Waspinator.
weird trap.
Yeah,
Like, wouldn't just punching him be whatever? See, maybe he does want to invent things, but his Predacon mind can only come up with weird, very, very uncalculated Home Alone traps.
yeah. So Waspinator is like flipping out, like flying around. We see that Pterosaur has watched this all go down, and he's all like, "Oh, so this is the game." And Waspinator is
right.
like flying around, like losing his shit, being all like, "Oh, destroy all Autobots, destroy all Autobots." and there we see Megatron and Black Arachnia, and they're basically just like, "Waspinator, what the fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah, I love that. They look at each other, and then they look back at Waspinator like, "Dude,
and
you
Like,
okay?"
what a moron.
and Waspinator is just like, "Waspinator, negative, negative, negative. I am Shrapnel, Decepticon hero."
Oh, Decepticon hero.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
just so we know who that is, Black Arachnia was like, that was a Decepticon from the Great War 3 centuries ago. So now, this is the first time it has been...
So they have centuries.
Well, this is the first
Yes.
time it has been established that this is in continuity with Transformers Generation 1 and how long it's been since that period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 300 years since G1. So G1 was set in Earth time in like 1984. So this is 300 years from 1984. So this is
2284.
so this is roughly like the mid 2280s.
The year
Okay,
is
so when we go on
2280X.
2280X,
Well, yeah, maybe.
except for some timey-wimey, spacey-wacy nonsense.
Well,
We don't know where or when they are.
not yet. But from the character's perspective, they are from a time that is 300 years after G1.
Mm-hmm. Which I think it's cool. Which means all of that stuff actually did happen.
Yeah, it's all canon.
Yes.
Nice.
Which I've read was not the original intention when the show was created. When the show was created, the writers knew nothing about Transformers, basically.
Really?
And the characters were essentially created to be analogs of the G1 characters. So like Optimus Primal was basically just supposed to be Optimus Prime, Megatron. Scorponok, I think, was supposed to be basically Soundwave.
Is Cheetor supposed to be Bumblebee?
Yeah, I think so. Starscream.
We've thought about that.
Yeah, Pterosaur is clearly Starscream.
Yeah.
Yeah, very like more so than any other character. Pterosaur
Doesn't-
is Starscream.
Spoilers, take this out of the episode, but doesn't Starscream's spirit inhabit a different Predacon later on in the show?
Yeah, Waspinator.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't know that. Yeah, let's cut that.
Yes, I'll cut that out.
But yeah, that this is established from this moment on. It is tying into the actual history of
Yeah,
Transformers.
and part of the way through the production of the show, the writers found out through internet forum, like Transformers forums, they started learning about Transformers history, and they made the conscious decision to actually make this show in canon with G1.
That's cool.
Because I mean, you got to figure
Nothing like
like this was at a like nowadays there's like a million different Transformers cartoons and movies and different continuities. But at the time, like prior to this, all there was Transformers Generation 1. Like
Yeah, this is the
all,
new shit.
that's all there was. So yeah. So anyway,
I like it. I like it. Now it's all canon. It's
Yeah.
all together.
All right, so we just ended up with Rhinox hitting Waspinator in the face with a giant crate.
yeah.
And him
And now he's
bouncing
walking
off all the walls.
and now he's walking through Rhinobot is walking through the this like hallway in the dark side, and Pterosaur confronts him in his like dainty ass fucking stupid Pterosaur
So amusing.
pterodactyl form.
I mean,
so
I really
amusing
like
whenever we
how
see
the
that.
beast looks. It looks really good. Like the close up you get of Pterosaur's face, I think his beast form looks really cool. But
We make fun of it regularly.
I'm sure up close, so like the details are like really, really good. But there's just something weird about like him like hopping around in this like awkward, like scrawny ass pterodactyl form that kills us.
Literally hopping.
oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not hilarious, but seems to be, I don't know, anatomically correct for a cartoon about fictional robot dinosaurs.
Well, sometimes, yeah, sure.
Sometimes, yeah.
And yeah, he what is he tries to? He's like, oh, I'm aware of what you're doing, rah, and I want to help.
No, he tries to blackmail him.
No,
Does he?
Yeah, he tries
he tries to blackmail him.
Yeah, he
sorry.
tries to blackmail him. He's like, "Here's the deal. You work for me, basically, or I'll tell Megatron, something like that." And Rhinox gets all mad and like puts him in like grabs him by the neck and is like, "No, here's the deal. You're gonna keep your big beak shut."
And there again, like you mentioned in the last episode, he chokes him right as he's trying to say terrorize, and it stops him from being able to transform.
Oh yeah, good catch.
Yeah, that is a good catch, and we caught that. Oh, we caught that another. Was it last episode?
It was last episode. Yeah.
Yeah, where
Yeah,
Optimus
with,
kind of
Dinobot.
closed Dinobot's mouth. So yeah, if you grab someone's mouth or their neck, I guess you can stop them from transforming.
Although earlier in this episode, when they were all getting ambushed, Optimus does go Optimus maximize, and then all of them just transform.
Yes. So if one second. Oh, I had to clear my throat. If one person, like in the group, usually the leader, but not always, they can say like Predacons, terrorize, and they can all transform. Just like Optimus saying like Maximals, maximize, or Optimus Prime, maximize, and that's like a cue for all of them too.
They have to be in the same party, though. They can't be.
Yeah. They got to party up.
Yeah, it's like the leader saying his activation code just like overrides all of their like transformation circuits.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
You got to be in the same party, like Tim says.
That makes more sense than not.
Also to save time. You don't need to roll call all the time. Sometimes it's cool. Yeah, so he's choking Pterodactyl man and Pterodactyl boy.
I like Pterodactyl boy more.
He's choking Pterodactyl boy. He's like, harder, daddy. Ah! and he's like, huh? What did you say? Nothing. And I don't know what. Get out of my way. And he what?
Was that Rhinox of the Hill there?
Yeah. Well, at one, maybe there's 2 points. It's hard to say because Christopher and I say it every single episode. But at one point,
both Rhinox and Megatron have gone, what?
yeah,
At
they've
least-
specifically said, what?
Yeah, they've both done it at least a couple of times.
I can't unhear it, so that's just how we say what now. And yeah, Rhinobot gets sick and tired of whatever Pterodactyl Boy's fetish is, and he just like, what? Does he just throw him on the ground and leave him there?
He tells him that he's going to do exactly what he says, or he's going to create the next fast food sensation, Pterodactyl Hot Plate. Get it? Got it? Good.
Hot wings.
Oh, hot wings. Whatever.
Oh, I get it because he has wings.
Yeah.
Does he say fast food sensation?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So Megatron, we cut to Megatron looking at a computer screen, and both Tarantula Man, and
Thank you.
and
Black Arachnobot.
Lady Arachnia.
Oh, I like that. Lady Arachnia. Yeah.
Tarantula Man and Lady Arachnia are both in their robot forms, suspended in their own webs.
Oh, just chilling.
And he says, "They have been poisoned."
Yeah, who says that?
Megatron.
Megatron.
So
are they moving or whining, or are they like paralyzed?
They're like twitching.
Twitching. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What happened? What do you think happened there? He just punched them and then wrapped them up in their own silk.
Or do you think he like punched them both and then got them to bite each other?
Okay,
That's what I think. Yeah.
What, really?
No, that seems like something like sadistic enough for this version of Rhinox to do.
Rhinox would never do that, but Rhinobot would. That's weird. That's creepy. Yeah. Let's go with that. He made them bite each other.
I wish that scene was in the episode. Honestly,
they probably on paper it probably sounded cool, but then when they were animating the scenes, they were like, "This is awkward, so we're just gonna show them hanging in their webs."
This is a little too weird for 11-year-olds. Okay, guys.
And then Megatron makes, I think, what is my favorite quote of the episode, and he says something about what is the machine called? Transmutator. The transmutator must have increased his aggressiveness quotient off the charts. So like they have an aggressiveness quotient. Is that like just a chip in there?
Aggression quotient?
Aggressiveness quotient. Yeah.
Huh.
Aggressiveness
I guess they have an IQ and they have an AQ.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like Gandhi in Civilization 1, where if you choose democracy, Gandhi becomes the warlord.
Because it lowers their aggression and his flips over to like maximum.
Yeah.
Oh,
to maximize.
That is actually
maximum.
That is actually a really good point. Except it increases, it doesn't decrease the aggression, right?
But yeah, but same end result.
But I do like Civilization references, so I approve. So something weird happened, and he's maximum aggression.
Yeah,
maximum aggro.
Yeah, and Megatron's all like, "What's going on around here?
Somebody, damn it, kids!
Get off my lawn!
I told you to stop playing in the storage room."
Somebody poisoned the water hole.
No.
Somebody crushed my scorpion.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my fabulous heels.
You've all died of cholera.
Oh, hey now. That's just too dark for a cartoon. What the heck were we talking about?
Not dying of dysentery, however.
Now wash your hands and
That's
come
what I
to
meant.
dinner.
Cholera. It's the same thing.
I have
something about
I have an Oregon Trail shirt that says you have died of dysentery on it.
Nice. I really like that
Horrifying.
game that you shared with me, Oregon Trail. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. Actually pretty fun. Oregon Trail. ORGAN. It's a cool little pixely game that's about like a zombie post-apocalypse, and you're going across the United States, like collecting parts for your car and staying alive. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So what happens? Megatron's
well,
like,
next-
"What's happening,
Yeah,
kids?"
so the Maximals are like, we'll move in a little bit closer, but we can't do a full scale attack because as of right now we'd be facing 7 Predacons, including Rhinox.
And
And
this is the fabled like
And Rat Trap.
7 he makes with his hands.
yeah, and Rat Trap is like basically like, yeah, and if we wait too long, we'll be only be facing 6 Predacons because Rhinox will be scrapped.
Yeah.
Something like that. And Optimus is like, we'll move in a little bit closer, but then we wait. And so
I like
back inside the dark.
So Optimus has one more line there, and he's like, Dinobot's like, he's right. The game is over. And Optimus is like, not quite. Rhinox and Megatron have one more hand to play with each other.
I like that your Optimus sounds like Megatron.
Does it? Okay, I'll do that for a Megatron voice next time.
So inside the dark side, Rhinox, Rhino Man is in his little Rhino Man beast form, walking on this like platform high up.
It's so weird. It's
How
like,
did you get
you
up
shouldn't
there?
be walking up there.
You could
Rhinobot,
fall.
what are you doing up there? I told you to come down and get ready for dinner.
You could fall and break your neck. Yes.
I feel like Megatron is like a disgruntled father trying to get like all the kids,
I mean, a
all
lot
of
of
his
times he
adopted
feels
kids together.
That's exactly what I was going for.
it sounds like he is like just fed up with all the bullshit. That's why he is like, yes. Like all that.
Yeah, so Megatron shows up and is all like, oh, such a pleasure to see you again, Rhinox. And Rhinox is like, always a treat to see you too. And then Megatron's just like, traitor! Which, like, immediately, he's just like, fuck you. He's like, all right, enough attitude. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, he usually has like, Megatron is usually a little more subtle. And he's like, oh, so where are you going? No, this time he's just had it, and he's like, traitor, shut your mouth. I'm tired of your sass.
Yeah.
And Rhinobot's just like, yup, you got me there.
Yeah, you got me there, partner.
And
I'm Rhinobot. Apparently I can do Rhinobot, but not Rhinox.
So Rhinobot transforms and is all like, they're
I love
playing
how
our
he
song,
transforms.
Megatron, time to dance, and he grabs him by the neck. And then Scorponok and Pterosaur show up and transform, and they're all like, haha!
We got you now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on both, on like in front
On
of
this
and
side.
behind him on this
Yeah.
vent, this like ventilation shaft.
Yeah, on either
It must
side
be
of them,
super sturdy to hold all of these robots.
right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What is this? Is that just a ventilation shaft? It can hold like what, like 2,000 pounds of robot? We take our air circulation seriously. Yes.
Yes.
No black mold in the dark side. No. Anyways, he says something that makes them both turn on each other, and it works somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, he says something. He's like, "Oh, we got you now." And then Rhinobot's like, "What about him? He was on my side until right now, basically."
Yeah, he's
And
like,
then-
when he says to Scorponok, he's like, yeah, when I scrapped you, he was smirking and laughing. And then Scorponok is like, oh, he's a smirker, is he?
Oh, he's a smirker, is he? Yada, yada.
And then he like jumps in the air and like front
There's a
flips
backflip.
and like
fuck
leaps,
yeah.
front flips and leaps right over Rhinox onto Pterosaur, and then they
That's
start
the most,
fighting.
yeah, that's the most impressive like maneuver I've seen Scorponok ever do. And
So
I'm like, well, dude, where were you hiding this? Where were you hiding this? Why
What
use it against?
What back pocket were you hiding this in?
Yeah.
His left second one down and third one in, and it's always in a zipper, so he has to specially open it.
That is impressively specific.
Yeah.
And then Rhinobot just grabs both of them and goes smash,
and then drops them, and as they're falling, he like waves by.
Yeah, he just like comically like bonks their heads together. Dumbasses.
And then Rhinox does a really good Megatron impression. Yeah.
What Christopher, do you have that line? He says something and then he says yes, and I don't have it up.
I don't have the line either, just that he does an impression.
He does a good Megatron impression, and I found it amusing. Not as amusing as Optimus's.
Optimus's was better.
From here, he cocks his gun and shoots Megatron right off of his terror board that he was floating on.
Oh yeah.
And Megatron lands on the ground. Rhinox jumps down, and he just happens to land right in the middle of the transmuter.
Oh yeah. And then what happens? Megatron like seems to stall for a little bit.
So Rhinobot is basically just like, oh, reprogramming me was the worst mistake you ever made, because now that I'm a Predacon, I'm a little too crafty for you. Which we've talked about this before, but like all of the Predacons other than Megatron are fucking idiots. That's why they never succeed. So now that we have Rhinox, who is like genuinely a smart dude, now that he's been turned evil, he's actually been like systematically taking them out with ease.
Yeah, like it's a game.
Yeah. And
like even Megatron isn't really putting that much of a fight.
Yeah, and Megatron just agrees with him. He's like, yes, I see this now. Oh. And Rhinobot's like, it's called irony, sport.
It's called irony, sport. Maybe you should get some.
Yeah, he's like, I take over and send you to the recycling bin. Yes.
I missed to chime in with this part. Megatron, he's on his terror board. He's just like hovering there, watching all of this play out. And there's a part where he's watching Scorponok and Pterosaur bicker, and Megatron just kind of like sighs and shakes his head. And I'm like, dude, you have guns too. Like, why don't you shoot Rhinox right now? But he like, and he's like a gentleman enjoying an opera. Like he's watching all of this play out, and I'm like, you can shoot Rhinobot too. No? Okay. Found that kind of interesting that
he's not going to fight his teammates' battles.
He likes lackeys doing his work for him.
He's like a manager.
Yeah. So anyway, Megatron's kind of like, yes, I see that was a mistake.
So Megatron is like,
it's time to correct it.
And yes, even now, Rhinox, you're teaching me a valuable lesson. And he's like, yeah, what's that? And Megatron's like, in a line that made me like laugh out loud earlier, Megatron of all people is like, sometimes Predacons gloat too much. And so he like shoots a thing that turns the transmuter back on.
What a bank shot. Yeah,
and it blasts Rhinox, who turns back to normal. And Rhinox is all like, huh, what? And then he like shrugs his shoulders and he's like, what happened?
Yeah. So does he not have memories?
But just like his pose right here is just hilarious. I'll send you a screenshot of it.
So he's and I'm pretty sure he's like shot immediately after he changes back to a maximal. Back to Rhinox. It was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
All good things.
So I don't actually have the episode up right now, but in my notes, I think I might be one scene behind.
Yeah, so Megatron T-Rex head lasers. Rhinox and calls him a maximal buffoon. And then the Maximals, or like a hole gets blown in the side of the dark side, and there are the Maximals who all maximize.
They arrive just on time.
This fight is so well choreographed and so badass, and it's not just the Maximals kicking ass. There's quite a good back and forth and as they pair off and stuff. I was blown away. This is better fight choreography than most like anime and most animated like movies. Like this was amazing. This was one of the best very small animated fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope fight.
Yeah. So I have a thing here. I can't bring up the episode right now for some reason. But I have a note here that says there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z type groaning going on during this fight.
But there's no powering up. There's no
really powering up. There's just a lot of groaning.
Well, being that I have never really watched Dragon Ball Z, I have nothing to add to that.
All right.
What I can add, though, is that Dinobot actually uses his helicopter tail in combat.
Oh, and he actually smacks Scorponok in the head multiple times with it. Like,
yeah.
Christopher and I have been, mostly me, I have commented about how useless his Whirlycopter has been ever since Beast Wars Part 1.
But he's actually using it in the fight.
He's actually using it to the point where I've noticed in the last couple episodes, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So it's so satisfying seeing all of this fight play out.
And he also takes his drill rapier and throws it, and it drill rapiers right through Scorponok's chest.
Yeah.
Leaving a gaping hole.
Yeah, and I think he's not down for the count, though. He still ends up trying to fight Dinobot.
Yeah, and he actually like sweeps the leg and knocks him down and like jumps on top of him and mounts him.
Yeah.
And so Optimus and Megatron are going toe to toe in the most like brutal fight we've ever one-on-one we've ever seen between the two of them.
I have one thing to say about that here. It seems like Optimus is doing all these flourishes with his sabers, going like cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Megatron just brings out his T-Rex head and goes blam, and just shoots him. He totally Joneses.
I was just gonna say that reminds me of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Oh. The guy's got the two sabers, and that's the thing. It's not one-sided. It's not just the Maximals. Like, Scorponok even mounts like Dinobot at one point.
Yeah,
that's what I was just pounding saying. Yeah, like Christopher was saying, he's pounding the hell out of him. Like I'm amazed at this fight. Like it's really good. But yeah, the Raiders of the Lost Ark with like Optimus with this badass like angry face, and he's like whipping his like machetes. Yeah, they're machetes, sabers around, and he just gets lasered by Megatron. It's good. Who else ends up squaring off here?
Dinobot is like using his Whirlycopter. Like straight up, he like puts like Scorponok's head right to it.
Yeah, and it's like
he's just got like it's like a drill almost, kind of like just bam, 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 like hitting him right in the head every time it swings around.
The sound design, the camera in it is so good. Like he's Scorponok is like clapping, like snipping at him with his hands, and it's like sparks are coming off of his head.
Yeah.
And Optimus gets up again with like one of his machetes. This is crazy.
And he like charges toward Megatron. Yeah. And then leaps into the air to like do like a downward strike with his sword. But Megatron like flips onto his back and like kicks his leg up right into both his legs up right into the torso of Optimus and kicks him into the air, and then he gets up immediately and then like T-Rex lasers him.
Well, he's Optimus is flying through the air after like Megatron like kicks him off of him, and he shoots him twice while he's in the air. Yeah, like you said. And I'm like, whoa. Like Megatron's moves, like holy Go Megatron!
And then
Goodness.
Megatron charges toward Optimus, and Optimus takes one of his swords and fucking cuts the T-Rex head arm right off of Megatron.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off. Like,
Severs his arm
He
completely.
chops his arm off.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
we've
things you
seen
can only do
Megatron
in a
get.
cartoon that's robots.
I mean, we've seen Megatron get blown to shit before, like by Pterosaur when Pterosaur was all juicing.
When he was juiced, yeah.
Yeah, but like here, like we actually like Megatron's like arm straight up gets cut off. I don't know. It seems more brutal.
It's chopped off. It's shown cartoonic
Yeah,
dismemberment.
the rest of him is fine, but his arm has been chopped off. Yeah.
I love that. It's short, but like I can't believe the caliber of that fight compared to the rest of the show that we've seen so far. I'm like, wow. Like I can't wait to see future episodes. That was
and
amazing.
there have been good fights prior to this too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But like that was something else. that was like poetic.
Okay, and so the base is exploding for some reason. I can't recall why the base is exploding.
Because
hey, sometimes these things just happen. Like the dark side has to explode every 2 episodes.
Because like Wacko Waspinator was zipping around and accidentally shot his like stinger gun thing into the transmutator or whatever.
Yeah. So it's like surging and there's a power surge or something and it explodes.
Yeah,
Whenever
and Cheetor is like time to fade heroes or something like that.
Yeah, it says he literally says some Cheetor bullshit and then they all run.
And Dinobot goes, "This is our chance to take command of the base." How? How are you going to take command of an exploding base?
Yeah.
The same way the Predacons retake command of their exploding base.
Yeah, and Optimus is all like, "That's an order, Dinobot. Grab Rhinox and let's get out of here." And then Rat Trap is just like, "Yo, everybody out of the pool." And Megatron's all like, "Predacons, take cover." So the Maximals fuck off, and then Megatron and Pterosaur are hiding under this like one like little like warped sheet of metal. It's so funny.
Pterosaur is actually like huddled up and shivering.
Yeah, and it's like it's such a
cold.
He's afraid.
It's such like dubious cover that it's like it's just hilarious. It's like this isn't going to protect you from anything.
It's like in a video game when you can take cover behind something, but it's only like the height of your hip, and enemies are just shooting at you. Your like upper body and head, and you're like, whoops. If you play GTA, it's a big pain in the ass. And it's like that. They're hiding behind this like warped like chunk of metal, and I'm like, maybe hide somewhere else, get some distance on that. I almost expected him to hold Pterosaur in front of him, like a meat shield.
Metal shield.
Yeah.
A mech fluid shield.
Yeah.
Sentient shield.
And Megatron's just all like, "Let me make this very clear to you, Pterosaur." And he like shakes his like stump.
Oh, yeah.
And is like something along the lines of like, "I am very unhappy right now."
Yeah, that a lot went bad for Megatron to be upset about.
Yeah.
But
so the
Maximals run away.
I almost said the Megatrons run away.
Megatron and the Megatron and the eye lasers.
Eye laser and the Megatrons.
There we go.
The Maximals fuck off. Explosion at the dark side. And then we cut away to peaceful music playing, and
are they in like a little jungle?
They're in like a little
forest?
grove.
Yeah,
like a little grove. Yeah. And there's like a little flower that that Rhinox, now back to normal, is sniffing. Because,
just like he said he liked to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, because, in the beginning of the episode, he talked about smelling the flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
And so Cheetor is just like, give us the scoop. What's it like being a pred? And what does Rhinox say? He said something that made me laugh.
He says he's
Cheetor's
like
up
having
to-
3. I have it written down here. He says it's like having 3 gigs of attitude on a 2 gig hard drive. No wonder they have personality problems.
And then they all laugh.
And they all laugh. And the camera zooms out. It shows Dinobot. Like he's in the foreground.
He's like
And all of
growling.
the rest are laughing. And he's just like,
Look, if either of you have the ability to watch this scene and watch how hilarious it looks when, like, because Optimus does this weird like flop
I love it.
over
I'm watching
as
it
he's
right now.
laughing. It's so stupid looking.
He does a weird what? Sorry?
Oh,
He
does what?
throws his arms up. He's actually holding like an iPad. It's kind of weird. He's holding like literally an iPad or like an ebook reader. And Cheetor is up in a tree like lounging, and Rat Trap is like leaning against a little rock. They're all like positioned really hilarious. But what Christopher's saying is like Optimus, he's on like the little hill beneath Cheetor. He like tosses his arms up almost like somebody like pretending to faint because he's laughing so hard, and he like turns and collapses on the ground. It's so weird. It's so weird.
check the screenshot that I just shared in the window.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Clever girl.
It's like he's just like being a gorilla at that point, just rolling on the ground.
That's very gorilla-like. Yeah, the arms up and the rolling over. Cheetor's like chest is like bouncing as he's like lounging on that little tiny branch. Very, very animal-like, all of them. I really like that Dinobot like clenches a little Velociraptor fist. Yeah. That is such a funny little ending.
Yeah.
I love that. I just love that whole scene.
so that was Dark Designs. Tim, do you have any final thoughts about the episode?
I mean, Rhinox is one of my favorite characters. I just love his transformation where it seems like he opens his mouth and then the robot form steps out of his mouth. It's got to be one of my favorite transformations.
I think Christopher's is Dinobot.
Yes, definitely. I love Dinobot's transformation sequence.
Yeah, I like Megatron's. I like Dinobots. I think Optimus's is a little on the weaker side.
I mean,
Because like his
okay,
legs just like spin around.
what toys did you guys have, or if any, as a kid?
A lot.
You had a lot. I think I had Cheetor, and I had Dinobot, and I had one of the characters from a further episode, the Manta Ray.
For characters that have only appeared in the show thus far, I had Megatron, I had Optimus, I had Dinobot, I had Cheetor, I had Tarantulas, I had Black Arachnia, I had
Black Arachnia is one of my favorite characters, actually.
I had Terrorsaur, I had Tigatron.
Way to brag, Christopher.
Oh, and I'm just no, I think at my peak I had like close to like 50 Beast Wars figures.
Just
Holy
Beast
crap.
Wars? Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody likes Beast Wars.
I had I wish I still had them too.
I don't have any of mine either.
And I had a bunch of figures that weren't part of the show because there were a ton of toys that were made that never made it into the show.
Yeah.
At least not in
yeah.
this version of the show. A lot of them made it into the Japanese Beast Wars cartoon.
You recently purchased like what was it? It was kind of like the alpha build of Optimus and Megatron.
Yeah, it was a 2-pack of like basic size Beast Wars figures of like the original versions of Optimus Primal and Megatron, where Megatron was a crocodile and Optimus Primal was a bat.
Oops.
So weird.
Yeah. I paid a lot of
I-
money for that thing.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. It cost me like $80.
Oh, geez. I thought I was hoping maybe it'd be like 20. Ooh.
No, and they're going for like it was actually a pretty good price because they're going for like 150 on eBay.
Oh, that's right. You bought it in person.
Yeah.
So yeah, Christopher, what did you think of Rhinobot and the Predacons?
Rhinobot and the Predacons. I really like Rhinox as a cunning douchebag. I really like the look of him as a Predacon. Honestly, I would like if he had just stayed like this, I would have been on board with it. Just taken over the Predacons.
Yeah, if he had stayed on like in an alternate timeline where he stays and takes over the Predacons, I think one, the Predacons would become more dangerous.
Probably
Uh,
win.
It would be interesting if in this alternate universe, let's say Megatron is destroyed.
Yeah.
Maybe to balance things out, one of the Predacons would join the Maximals. No, if Megatron's out, then it balances out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and plus like the Predacons as they are now, I can't really see any of them joining the Maximals.
No, Scorponok would only do it out of spite because his dad is dead.
Yeah.
You know, like he's only loyal to Megatron, and without him, he might just like wander. Maybe he'd wander off solo, like Tigerbot.
Tiger Man.
Oh, sorry, Tiger Man. Yeah, yeah, I can see him like wandering the kind of like the rocky areas alone.
Yeah, and I really liked the fights at the end.
I was hoping Rhinobot would have eye lasers, but you got to be built with them, I guess.
Guess
Yeah,
so.
you gotta be born a Predacon.
Oh, true.
Cal, what did you think of the episode overall?
It's this is one of the better episodes, I think. Like this is just a treat. Him taking down Rhinobot taking down the Predacons is some goofy, weird stuff. Like half of them, it doesn't even show how he takes out, which I think is is interesting. But the
think-
Home Alone sequence with the box, but
It was
it's
a little
humorous.
goofy, yeah.
That's a little goofy, but and him just
think it just
pushing
speaks-
boxes over on Scorponok, you know, kind of
I think it
goofy.
just speaks to like how it's a kids show and how they're trying to teach kids a good lesson that like if you're evil, you'll always, end up fighting yourself. But if you're the good guy, even if you're the good guy who becomes evil, you'll still be better at it than everyone else.
Oh, I was thinking that it was teaching kids that being evil like pays off immediately and all the time.
That's a weird message to send to children.
It doesn't though, because all the evil people lose, and then the one guy who was good, became evil, is now better at it than them. So it's like being evil is the easy way out.
So
And
commit
if you
crime
really want to
later
be
in life after you've learned a
Yeah.
thing or two.
Well,
Okay.
So, yeah. If that's what you want to take from it.
The fight scene is like I have to just keep rewatching that. Like I can't believe how good that is. Reminds me of the duel on Beast Wars, Christopher,
Yeah.
between Dinobot and Optimus. Like that was some like samurai atop atop a cliffside
Gorilla.
kind of like
Top of the heap.
Yeah, it was.
King
I
of
thought
the
that
hill.
was interesting. It was kind of
number
a king
one.
of the hill. I liked it.
I must say.
I also like talking as Rhinobot.
Yeah, I think I think you're in charge of the Rhinox impressions going forward.
No, but that's the thing. You're better at Rhinox. I'm just better at Rhinobot. Or I'll listen to myself and see if I can do a Rhinox.
Yeah, normally my Rhinox isn't too bad, but I'm a little congested right now, so I think that's probably why it wasn't working out for me.
All right. So
All right.
I guess that's it. That's all she wrote.
So yeah, that was Dark Designs, the 12th episode in production order. We will be back next week with the 13th episode in production order, which was the 12th episode in broadcast order, so these 2 episodes were switched for whatever reason. Victory. Tim, do you have anything you want to plug or anything like that?
I do have a Twitter. I don't really use it that often. Maybe I'll get back into it. It's at Timformation.
So go ahead and follow him there.
If you like some random facts and random nonsense, that's all you'll find on my Twitter base.
Well,
can confirm.
Thank you for joining us on our Beast Wars voyage.
If you guys will have me back, I'll come back for another episode for sure.
Hopefully it's been smooth sailing for you.
Yeah.
For the most part. Actually, I had no problems connecting or anything today.
Listeners, if you want to follow me, you can do so on Instagram at Christopher Siege. That's SIEGE. You'd be surprised at how many people fuck that up.
You mean it's not CEEJ?
Or SEIGE?
EIJE?
Oh, I could see people going E. It's I before E, people.
Say gay.
after-
Oh, yes. Christopher Siege on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/toomuchenergon. We also have a YouTube channel where I have been posting these, and they've actually been getting a fairly decent amount of views and likes and comments. So
on YouTube, baby.
Yeah, it's you can not only find this show, but you can find another show that me and Cal do, which is Alphanumeric, a reboot podcast. It's a podcast just like this, except we're talking about another mainframe entertainment series, Reboot. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, either on an iPhone, an iPad, or Mac, or iTunes, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. That would help us out. A couple people have actually done so. So thank you to those who are doing that. So this has been week 12 of Too Much Energon. I have been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am your other host, NeoCal.
And I have been the guest podcaster named
Tim.
Is he still there?
Tim?
Yeah, Tim. I said podcaster named Tim.
Well, it's funny.
You cut out, and that was like the perfect time to cut out, too.
You cut out right before you said Tim, so that's when I awkwardly threw it in there.
I didn't know that.
It was like the perfect moment to cut out because you just left us in suspense.
Yeah, I was like, does he have a Beast Wars name?
Tim, maximize.
Timformation, maximize.
Timformation.
There you go. Until next week, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode.
Beast mode.
Beast Wars!